Howdy, hey everybody. Let's see if this is working. Am I live? Check, check. 1, 2. Buckle my shoe. 3, 4. Shut that door. I believe I'm live. Let's see. Hi, my name's T.S. and I write comics. Let's see if this is working. That's why. How's everybody doing tonight? There we go. Should be up and running. Hey Ty, how you doing? I'm back at it again. You can't get rid of me. I'm just gonna go live day and night. How's everyone doing tonight? My name's T.S. and I write comics. I am the creator of comics like Tokyo Fire and Hellion and Bash. Hellion and Bash number 2 just launched on Kickstarter today. So if you like superhero comics like Invincible or The Victories, Hellion and Bash might be for you. It all asks the question, who protects the sidekick from the superhero? And when nobody steps up to do it from the superhero community, the supervillain community does. And they all have to go on the run from the superheroes. I'm so excited to be talking about this one. I'm super tired because I've been working on this campaign nonstop. But we are almost a third of the way funded in under 1 day, which is freaking rad. I'm so excited about it. Bug Boy, thank you so much for the gifts. You're the best. I gotta hit you up. I gotta talk to you about your comics. I appreciated you sending me over the scripts. I had a fun time reading them, and I want to talk to you about them. You forgot to message me earlier? How dare you? That's okay. I had so much to do. I had to approve all of the ads for Hellion and Bash to run on like Google and Meta, and I think there's another one running on TikTok right now. So that was most of what I did today, and obviously hang out with my kids and approve a bunch of stuff. So don't worry. I probably wouldn't have messaged you back if you had messaged me. Sorry to say, Ty. But please hit me up, and when we have time, we'll definitely go over it. Right now, I'm getting pages in right now for another comic book, so I'm also going over that. Victoria, you're back. I'm back. How's it going? I wanted to stream a couple of times today just to kind of go over the campaign and keep excitement up. Let me see what the campaign is sitting at right now, actually. Let's see if I can go over to Kickstarter. I wonder if my my feed gets throttled every time I say that. Like if I'm not supposed to be saying that word on here. I don't care. It's live on Kickstarter right now. We have 22 backers. We're at $765 out of a $3,000 goal. We have 31 days to go. It's running up until March 21st, I think, is the last day. Because I think that's the math. Yes, it is. I'm good. Been making a concept of my first panel on my... Let me see. I am good. I'm good. Been making concept art for the first panel of my comic. Oh, that's so cool! I love concept art. Concept art is one of my favorite things ever. Not just for my comic books, which I love getting. One of my favorite thing to do is to send over an idea for a character to Marcus, the artist on Hellion and Bash, and then to see what kind of designs he comes up with. But I also just love concept art in general. One of my, I wouldn't say like guilty pleasures necessarily, because I do use them for work. But one of the few things I do collect is art books. I have the TMNT Mutant Mayhem art book, and my wife just got me the Into the Spider-Verse concept art book. So it's got the full art book for everything that went into the Spider-Verse. I love art books so much, and concept art. Yes, dude, I love art books so much. And honestly, again, they're great inspiration and great to learn different techniques. One of the reasons why she got me this one is I really wanted to work on my screen tones and some of my coloring. And TMNT, Mutant Mayhem, and Into the Spider-Verse have some of the coolest coloring that adds so much to the artwork itself. Because my line work has gotten a lot better, but I really need to work on my coloring as I level up as an illustrator to do some of my own projects, because I'm illustrating a few of my own books. And coloring is so far out of my wheelhouse right now. So I'm learning, and hopefully I can get some cool techniques from these. But I love concept art so much. That was one of the first stretch goals we did on the first issue of Hellion and Bash, was adding more concept art like to the back matter to issue 1. And we'll probably do the same thing here. We have a few ideas for stretch goals. We want to do that, and we want to add a letters page. So if any of that interests you, click on the link in my bio, and you can head on over and back Hellion and Bash number 2. And you can catch up on issue 1 as well. It's all over there. You can get both, I promise. I've had so many people message me about that today. They saw the ad somewhere, they were excited, but they haven't read issue 1. And I'm like, have you clicked on the ad? Because it says right there that you can get both. But I'm just excited that other people are excited, so I try not to hold it against them. The other thing I get asked a lot is, how does Kickstarter work? I forget, because I'm so ingrained in Kickstarter and indie comics and backing projects on there, that not everybody uses Kickstarter all the time. So it's really simple. You pick the tier with the rewards that you like the most, and you back it there. And if there's something else that you want that's not in that tier, you can add it as an add-on, like just basically put it in your cart, and you purchase both. And then when the project is ready to be finished, we send out the product, because you're helping make it get funded and get created. So the second it's done, we ship out everything to you. I usually ship out everything in 2 phases. I send out all the digital rewards, and then I send out all of your physical rewards when everything's ready. Coloring is so hard. It really is. And it's probably the part that I'm the least good at when it comes to illustration, but I'm learning. And luckily I get to work with some really awesome colorists on a lot of my projects, so I have a lot to learn, but I have some experts to teach me. Here's a question. Did you illustrate before doing comics, or was it a result of writing comics? It was 100% a result of writing comics. I learned how to draw and color, like do illustrations, period, for 2 reasons. Number 1, I thought if I learned, maybe I could do some of my own projects without having to team up with people. That one didn't work out so much, because I got to meet so many amazingly talented people that I was lucky enough that wanted to work with me, that I haven't really needed to do my own artwork lately, because so many cool artists want to team up, and that's been more fun, and they're going to do a better job than I ever could anyways. I did the cover for Tokyo Fire issue 1. I did a variant cover. I think I have a copy around here somewhere. That sold really well, and that was fun, so I got into doing covers. But I got into it because I thought maybe I could save some money and do some of the illustrations myself. And the other reason is I wanted to learn everything that goes into making a comic book, so I could be a little bit more empathetic and know what I'm asking of other people on my team. So I wanted to learn to illustrate a little bit more, so I understood what I was asking of my artists. I wanted to learn how to letter, so I understood what I was asking of my letterer, editing, etc. And I've learned how to do most things that go into creating comic books. I've lettered books, I've illustrated them, I've colored them, I've flatted colors, I've done all the bits and bobs that go into it. I've printed my own ash can copies and folded and stapled them. I do all the fulfillment for all of my stuff. A little bit less now that I'm involved with publishers, but I wanted to learn every aspect that went into it, so I knew what I was asking of other people. And it was honestly an amazing experience, and it helped my writing. It helped me know what I'm kind of working towards, and knowing a better way to go about it as I read other people's scripts. So it's been a good time. Oh, Victoria, thank you so much for the gifts. Bug Boy, thank you too. You guys rock. That's so amazing. I know you've explained this to me before, Victoria, and please don't do it again. I'm so sorry, but I appreciate the roses. If that's a lot of money, save it. If it's just a little bit of money, thank you so much. But you rock. Thank you. And Bug Boy, you're the best. This is awesome. I stop. I'm gonna cry though. You don't have to send gifts. It's awesome that you're here and you're watching. You're hanging out, asking questions. That means the world to me. You do not have to send anything. I always feel guilty. I'm like, I have nothing else to give to you. I can't reciprocate anything. They're only like 1 coin, so no big deal. I don't know what a coin is, Bug Boy, and the fact that you want to spend a coin on me is amazing. Gifts also help engagement, though. Okay, all right. You're awesome, and I appreciate it. And I think a lot of it is like I can't give back, right? Somebody gives me a Christmas present, I can send you something. If you guys go and back the comic book, I can send you a comic, right? The only thing I can do here is say thank you and then cry a little bit, which will definitely happen. But I will gladly answer any questions in reciprocity. If you have anything that you want to know that goes into making comic books, I would love to share. I got to spend most of the day creating ads for my comic books, which is really cool and really weird. Okay, but you're answering questions, thinking of it as a trade. Okay. Crossover? Bug Boy, when you start getting your comic books out there, I will gladly talk crossovers. And if you want to get ahead of the game, if there's anything like that you're like, I just want to see my OC in somebody else's comic up first, I do sell a cameo tier with Hellion and Bash. That's like an additional add-on. It's kind of pricey. Most people reserve it for when they already have a comic book coming out. Like my buddy Rod, that nerdy Papa Bear from Irrepressible Comics, his character Colonel Jefferson makes an appearance in issue 2 of Hellion and Bash. 2 other characters that are coming from creators who are going to be writing stuff in the Hellion and Bash universe started as buying a cameo on there before they partnered up with me. That's the White Knight and I'm forgetting the other name, Hex Machina. I'm going to be writing a series with them. So, and they originally purchased that. So I don't know. It's kind of pricey. It's like $75. So I don't know if I could recommend that. But if you wanted to get ahead of the game, that's something to consider. I'll have to discuss it with you. Definitely. And but like, as you get more stuff coming out, like the crossover mentality becomes way easier because it's like, oh, well, you have a book coming out, I have a book coming out, let's cross promote, let's talk about getting cameos in there. One of the things I'm going to be doing later is I'm going to send an update to everyone who's backed the Kickstarter so far or followed it, and I'm going to be plugging a bunch of other people's Kickstarters who are running right now that I'm friends with and or mutuals with, so we can make sure everyone's checking out all those Kickstarters. And once the comic book is coming out, you'll really want to push that. But I would gladly talk about that when your book's ready. Question for you, dude. Should a cover be an action shot or any other advice? So if I get filtered again. Nope, you didn't get... Swear to God, if I get filtered, you did not get filtered. I got it this time. Also, Andrew Bowman says, congrats on an awesome launch. Thank you so much, Andrew, and thank you so much for all of the recommendations on the cons. I'm going to one next weekend, Great Lakes Comic-Con. I'm not tabling because I was too late, but it is in Warren, Michigan, so I'm going to be there. It's at, like, the Macomb University Expo Center, so... and that's all thanks to you, so thank you. Now, Victoria, your question is, what about a cover? I say whatever looks coolest. You want to look at trends. You want to look at what people are doing on covers that people like. You can do an action shot if the action is applicable to the issue. You never want to have something on your cover unless it's like from a guest artist that doesn't happen in the comic book or isn't applicable, because it's going to mislead your readers, and especially with indie stuff, people want to see a cover that reflects what's going to look like inside. So be really careful with variant covers and with what you're doing artistically on the cover, because people want the preview of what they're going to get on the inside. And yeah, it's really easy. Just look at what other people are doing. That's one of the few things I would recommend, not copying necessarily, but learning from the industry. Look at what people are doing on the big books right now and see what they're going for. Does it look more like a poster? And that's a good place to start, is look at cool movie posters that you like and start there. Okay, good advice. I appreciate it. I hope that helps. And definitely talk to your artist, because like you can have an amazing piece of artwork that doesn't really tell you enough about your comic book on the inside. You can have like a piece that would be a great maybe like pinup or something, but it doesn't have anything to do. Like I have this amazing Yeti Man piece. That's what I used for the Hellion and Bash #2 picture there. That's the thing in purple. That has like a larger thing. We used it as the art print, and that would be really cool as like a cover for the comic book. Except Yeti Man's a side character. Yeti Man pops up, has a few speaking roles. His name's not on the cover. He's not a main character. So if I put that awesome art on the cover, people might pick it up and then be disappointed that they're not getting enough Yeti Man in the book. Do whatever you think looks cool. Can't go wrong with that advice. Let me see. This is the pinup that's from. Like I said, that would be an amazing cover for Yeti Man, you know. But if I put this on the cover of Hellion and Bash #2, people would be like, he does not look like Hellion nor Bash. But he does steal the show in a couple of scenes in issue 2. He's got some funny lines. I really enjoy writing Yeti Man. I like that character a lot. So much so that as I work towards the other issue stuff, I've talked to the publisher about doing some spin-off content specifically with Yeti Man because people have really responded to him in the promotional material. That's why we did a pinup artwork of him, is because when we put out the trailer for the first issue, people were like, I want to see more of that Yeti dude. So that was immediately what we went to for making the artwork. And I would love to hear if anybody has any recommendations for what you want to see out of the Kickstarters going forward. Even though we're working with a publisher now, Professional Entropy, shout out, we're still going to be doing the Kickstarter. It's a great way to grow the audience and to make sure it gets funded before we go to print. And we're going to be doing it for every single issue ongoing, right? So who knows how far we'll get to take this. But if there's stuff that you want to see, like one of the cool recommendations we got last time was people wanted a letters page. So that's the first stretch goal on issue 2, is getting a letters page. People enjoyed seeing the concept art, so we're doing that as back matter. We had people asking for t-shirts, which we couldn't do this time around, but next time around we'll probably do t-shirts if people still want that. The big ask last time, other than the letters, was stickers. So we are offering 2 stickers with this campaign, because people really, really wanted stickers, and I hadn't even considered it, and I didn't know how to make stickers. I hadn't looked into it, and I went to Sticker Ninja, and they helped me come up with 2 stickers that would be really cool. And I love stickers. I just never thought about adding them into the campaign. I don't know if you've seen it, but Danny Phantom had title cards that looked like comic covers. Oh, I do remember that. Oh, I loved Danny Phantom when I was younger. I would definitely recommend looking at some of the stuff like that. One of my favorite uses of comic book covers outside of comics was in the Spider-Man PS1 game. One of the GOATs. One of my favorite games of all time because I'm old. And every level, the title of the level was a comic book cover. So like the first one was like the bank heist, and Spider-Man is like next to the bank and stuff. And I always loved those. That would be an awesome acrylic or metal print. The Yeti Man, definitely. And there's a dude on here. I really apologize. I'm blanking on the name, but we're mutuals. If you want to look that up, like the die-cast metals, they laser them onto stone and to metal and different things. And we're looking into possibly doing that art print on a stone slab because it's really, really cool. Also, I just want to say it's awesome seeing how far you've come from the first live I saw you in. Victoria, I appreciate that so much. And listen, it's in no small thanks to you. You explained gifting to me. You explained what most of the buttons did. And now, like, I'm not even really on TikTok like the way it is. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but I'm not on the app right now. I'm on Restream, which I'm using to go to YouTube and to TikTok at the same time. So it's archived. And I can break it out and do other stuff with it. And I'm getting a lot better at it, and it's because of you, and I really appreciate that. And I've been trying to practice and do it often. And even, like, if you just look at it cynically, I get a lot more engagement going live than I ever do on any of my videos. Partly because my videos are for other creators of comic books. Most of the people that respond to my videos are people who want to learn how to sell their comic books or get writing tips. Whereas with the lives, I get more people who want to read my comic books, which is kind of where I want to be at. I want to do both, obviously, and I love helping out, but I really enjoy people reading my comic books. That's why I got onto social media in the first place, and I get a lot more of that from going live. So I appreciate you being here here and teaching me. It's been awesome, and it's a lot more fun too because I have to think so hard to come up with a video idea, and because I'm a writer, I want to make sure that the script is good, and then I do it off the cuff anyways, but I try to memorize the stuff I want to say so it comes out well. Whereas with the live, I can just be here, I can wear my wizard robe and just chill and hang out. So happy I could help you, man. I'm super grateful I could be one of the first people to interact. You're the best, and I appreciate it, Victoria, and it's always awesome when you pop into my lives, and I'm so glad that you're reading some of my stuff, and I'm super excited to see what you come up with your comic books. It's going to be so cool. Benny Rose, how's it going, dude? I'm working on a couple of books with Benny Rose. That's going to be a good one. I'm always working on like 40 projects in the background, so there's a lot of people when I'll mention projects and it looks like I have one or two. I have like 50 in gestation right now that are in various levels of production, and then I have so many, and this is like a little known secret. I have so many that are already completed, already done, just looking for a home that I'm pitching to either publishers or waiting to kickstart later on. It's something that a lot of like the indie comic book creators that you see on here, we all have stuff like that. We all have these like secret projects that have been completed forever. And as our rising stars, grow, as we get more opportunities and we get to reach out to them, like we get to pitch these secret projects that no one's ever heard of that we've been sitting on for years. That's what happened with The Digger that's coming out from Invader Comics this year. I made that over a year ago, and I'd just been sitting on it, pitching it to places, and they finally said yes, so it seemed like it came out of nowhere. I pitched it, and then they bought it, but I had been sitting on it for a while. So we have all these little secret projects. Congrats again on the launch of the Kick. Dude, thank you so much, Benny, and thank you so much for your support and checking it out and backing it and telling all of your fans. It's been awesome, and I really appreciate it, man. The curse of it really is. Like, works in progress are everywhere, man. And it's really easy to lose track and get bogged down. But the cool thing is because everyone's working on so many different things, I usually don't let too many things fall by the wayside. It's like, yeah, I'm busy, but like me and Benny we're working on the project a couple weeks ago, and then I had to do this, but he's got other projects going on, so it's not like he needed it done ASAP. And then one of the projects that I pitched and were purchased, I sent over the script, and they're drawing it right now. And I can't do anything until that's finished drawing. So that one's just sitting there so I can, talk about Hellion and Bash. So because there's so much downtime at different levels of the industry and different parts of production, they usually don't coincide. They usually don't ram into each other, and now I'm underwater with 40 million things that need to be done. Usually. Sometimes it happens. Like, I have a few things I need to send out to Benny next week. But I also have to get the script done for another secret project that I'm working on, and the artist needs those pages like yesterday. So sometimes it starts to overlap. T.S. Luther, the GOAT. No, you're the GOAT, Comic Talk. How's it going, dude? How you been? Philip B., how you doing? Ignore my little tiny dainty straw. It's not long enough to fit into my mason jar. But I have to do the straw so the mustache doesn't start to form fangs, because if it gets wet, it just falls into my face. And it looks weird. Yeah, it makes me look like a tarantula. Let me do a live update real quick. How's weather been by you? Weather has been awful, dude. How dare you bring that up? It's like full whiteout condition. It stopped snowing at least now, but it's so gross outside. Like, it's awful. Luckily my kids didn't have to go to school today, but it's been terrible, and it's freezing. I might have to dip so I can take care of my kiddo, but if I'm on later and you're on too, I'll tune in. Thanks so much, Victoria. Good luck with the kiddo. I'm gonna do the same thing here in a little bit. I appreciate you. It's a cool mustache. Thank you. It's just a big one. Same water in the basement last night. Oh, dude, I'm so sorry. That sucks, man. How'd that happen? Isn't it like colder there? Is it not frozen? That's crazy. I'm sorry. I hate that about basements, man. I also still need to send you my cans up. Listen, there's so many other people. Get in line. Take your time. It's okay. I wouldn't be able to respond to you tonight anyways, so figure it out when you can. Bad rain, crazy winds. We had a ton of rain, sadly. Rain? Are you? How is it not frozen over there? That's crazy. That's the one good thing about living in an apartment, is I don't have to deal with that anymore. Like, we don't, if it does rain, it's a problem for the first floor, I guess. But some roses as a boost. Goodbye until later. Thank you so much, Vittoria. You're the best. Thank you. Good luck with the kiddo. It was 60 yesterday, but dropped again. Oh God! So not only did it like flood your basement, but then it like froze afterwards. That's horrifying. This is why I can't own a house anymore. Also because comic books don't make any money, but so it makes the financials difficult. But also because of so many things go into it and go wrong. When I had a house, it was always something like that: rain, trees falling down. Being in the Midwest, it's like the weather is usually okay. You don't get a lot of natural disasters, but when it goes crazy, it goes crazy. And the water was a big problem with having a basement. Our basement was finished, but every once in a while, too much water would run through and it would end up seeping through. Stuff sucked, man. But now I don't have to deal with any of that. I have an apartment. Every once in a while, the roof needs to get done, and I just complain, and then they do it. I am doing well enough, Comic Talk. How are you doing? I appreciate the sentiment. I'm alive. The Kickstarter is doing well. We're at $765 out of a $3,000 goal. We have 22 backers so far with 31 days to go, which is really good. That's a great opening gate run. We're already almost a third of the way funded, and we still have a lot of time left. And it's a marathon, not a sprint, so hopefully that number will keep climbing. I did a lot of ads today, so I'm sorry if you see me popping up in places that you're going to get annoyed about. We have like a YouTube ad running. I don't think the Meta one is live yet, but there'll be one running on Meta. There's another one running on TikTok. I know that one's live because I got one on there. Is your kick in your bio? It is. Link is in my bio for the Kickstarter. Go ahead and check that out, or search up Hellion and Bash #2 on Kickstarter. You can find it there as well. I'm at T.S. Luther on everything, and the link should be anywhere where you find my name. The link should be there. And I don't think I can put it in the chat, obviously. I think it'll get throttled. But yeah, if you head over to the link in my bio, it should take you right there. Or at least close enough. You can also find links at professionalentropy.com, which is the publisher. They have links to it. My website, can'tbekilledcreations.com. So you can find it in lots of different places. But also, don't be afraid to go right over to Kickstarter and just type it in. There's not a lot of other books named that. So unless Franklin and Bash gets a revival season, we're usually the first thing to pop up when you start typing it in. Thanks for stopping by, dude. I appreciate you. Have a good one. Six Skills, how you doing, dude? How's the hydraulic brakes going? I know you drive commercial vehicles. That's about the extent of what I know about commercial vehicles. I used to work at a logistics warehouse for an automotive company, and I know some things about that. I used to write about those car parts, and then I know all of the different hazard tags that you have to put on them to carry certain goods, basically. So if you have batteries, you need a certain dangerous and hazard tag on there, at least driving through Michigan. So that's about the extent that I know about like the big professional rigs. But I know, don't you mostly drive buses, Six Skills? Everything I said probably is non-applicable. Also, if you see me look over here, it's because the chat is on my other screen. So I'm not looking at ghosts in the corner like my cat does. I am looking at the chat. That nerdy Papa Bear. Rod, how's it going, dude? Go check out Colonel Jefferson from Irrepressible Comics. I was just talking about how Colonel Jefferson has a cameo in issue 2 of Hellion and Bash. Because some people were talking about crossovers or purchasing cameos, and I was recommending to wait until you have a book out to purchase a cameo, because you can like drive that audience. Unless you just want to see yourself in the comic book, then totally, I don't want to talk myself out of a sale. But it has been really cool getting other people's comic book characters in mine. You don't have to nag me for once. I don't. You're welcome to stay. You did your homework. I'm so proud of you. I only got to check out the one, but I'm enjoying reading it so far. And I have a few notes already, and I'm excited to help you pick which project, or at least throw in my 2 cents for which ones you're gonna work on. But I'm excited, and I got to revisit some of the backups that I wrote for Irrepressible, for Colonel Jefferson number 4, I believe. So I have some cool ideas there to discuss with you. Friendly neighborhood, how you doing, dude? I guess we have a few more people in here, so I can do the annoying thing and plug again. Go check out Hellion and Bash issue number 2. The link is in my bio. If you like superhero comics like Invincible or The Victories, superhero comics from other comic book publishers other than the big 2 new superhero universes, check out Hellion and Bash. It's all about asking the question, who protects the sidekick from their superhero? When the superheroes don't step up to save this kid, the supervillains have to, and they have to go on the run from the entire superhero community. And it's a lot of fun. The first issue is all about the shadow of a kaiju attack on a city, and the world's greatest thief is robbing the city blind, because what better to do when the superheroes are fully occupied with fighting off a giant green pterosaur than to rob the city. And he uncovers some really sinister secrets, and it all goes on from there. And it's been a blast writing, and because of all your support, we got a publisher for issue number 2 and onward, because so many people bought it, so you don't have to worry about this going away. Issue 3's script is already turned in. Issue 2 is almost completely finished. It's about to go to letters right now, so it's super rad, man. Hey, yo, Ricardo, you made it. Thanks for joining, dude. I also, obviously, we can talk about Hellion and Bash number 2 if you want, if you have questions about the world, the series, anything like that. But also, if you have questions about writing comics, creating comics, publishing them yourself, getting a publisher for them, anything like that, I would love to help out, love to answer any questions. We have a couple of different comic book creators in the chat right now. They'll probably answer questions better than I ever could. So feel free to ask anything that pops into your mind. I've also published a couple other comic books. Obviously, I'm talking about Hellion and Bash, that series today. But one of my first big successes was Tokyo Fire, that I made with my co-creator, Sky Hawkins. She's awesome, an amazing illustrator. And that one also got picked up by Professional Entropy. So thank you again for that, because now I'm going to have another ongoing series over there. I'm curious, what program do you use to write your comics? I mostly use Word, because I'm ancient, and that was the first word processor I had ever seen before. I didn't even know there were other ones for a long time. I've used WordPerfect a little bit, because that's what my lawyer uses, so when I send her contracts, that's what it needs to be on, so I messed around with that a little bit. I use Word because I had a template that I made, and it's what I like the format of my comic book scripts to look like. And so I use that every single time. It's just what I'm used to. It sucks that you have to buy it like monthly now. You don't have like a forever license. I have an old version of Microsoft Word that I use and utilize, so I don't have to get bogged down with that anymore. It's like a legacy edition. It's definitely outdated for sure, but it still prints, so it works just fine. But because it doesn't really matter. As long as you can get the words out on the page, it doesn't matter what you write on it. You don't need a lot of fancy bells and whistles, because it's not like movie scripts. It doesn't have to be one single format. Every artist I work with wants to see it just a little bit differently. So you don't have to have anything specific. You don't have to have any of the fancy script programs. So that's mostly what I use. I like Word. It gets the job done. It works well because I use OneNote as well, so I can just move that file over with my notes. But you don't need anything fancy. My original scripts were written in Notepad, or on a literal notepad with a pen and paper. So you do what works for you. Exactly, Sleek. You get it, dude. What works for me, and more importantly, what works for the artist. Whatever format they like to see, whatever format that they prefer it in, that's what I should do. Mr. Fish right there. What's going on, dude? Got pulled into a meeting with a client. Listen, get the money first. You got to do it. Speaking of clients that want different things, so Mr. Fish is an artist that I work with quite often, and Fish prefers Google Docs. So even though I'm doing it in Word, I try to put everything into a Google Doc for him. Otherwise, he yells at me because he's old and doesn't know how to open it. He needs it in his Google Doc. And because Fish is the fastest working dude in comics and is definitely worth the money and the time, I make it exactly the way that he wants to see it, to get the work done. So again, it's whatever I prefer, but really it's whatever the artist I'm working with prefers. And then, I looks like I got some YouTube comments. I apologize for everybody in the YouTube. Missed it. Ty, you're over there now? How's it going, dude? Thanks for watching. Wherever you can find it. It all works. And then, like, if anybody hasn't seen it, if anybody, like, wants to check it out, Hellion and Bash #2, the link is in my bio. Please, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell the weird dudes at your comic book shop. New issue is dropping. I'm super excited about it, and we have a publisher now, so I get to sleep easy knowing that the issue will come out, even if, not even if anything, the issue is going to come out, which is really cool. I like them because it's easy for both of us to edit. That's totally fair. And Fish, and you don't have to tell us why, because you're the artist. I'm going to get it to you with whatever. Go check it out. It's freaking awesome. You know what else is freaking awesome? Green Zone #4, edited by moi, but drawn and written by Mr. Fish Comics. That is also live on Kickstarter right now, and it's almost fully funded. So if you can go over there, if you're interested in my book, once you're done backing mine, go back Green Zone, because it's almost there. Just push it over the finish line. It's an amazing series. It's one of the few series that Fish doesn't let me write for him, because it's so good. I don't want to mess it up. But I do get to edit it, which is really cool. And it's so good. As an editor, the first thing I do is cut everything. I cut this, I cut that, get rid of all of these pages, don't need that line of dialogue. And this is the first book ever that I've ever edited for anybody that I said, hey, let's put more in it. This is so perfect. I don't want to cut a single page. He ended up talking me into cutting some pages. I wanted a 28-page script, and I think he got it down to 24. But it's beautiful. It made me cry, and it wraps up the first arc of Green Zone. So if you, it's like Training Day meets X-Men if you haven't heard of it, but go check it out. It's so good. He's still talking. I'm always talking, okay? I'm always yapping. Alex, what are you doing? All right? Are you on here promoting your Kickstarter? I don't think so. I am. So I gotta yap. It's part of the job, brother. It's Super Mr. Fishman. Always listening. Listen, it is part of it. I was so afraid to start doing lives and to get on TikTok, and now you can't stop me. Can't be stopped. Can't stop, won't stop. I'm gonna be yapping. Just wait until I start coming to your neck of the woods. I've been invited to like 3 different cons over in Jersey, and I might just have to do it, and then you won't be able to escape me. Can't Be Stopped Comics. I should have been called Can't Be Stopped Comics, because Can't Be Killed gets me flagged on everything. But the whole reason why I named my company that is because I've had other hobbies. I did podcasts, I did other stuff, and it never stuck. And I would always do something else, but with comic books, when I realized it's what I wanted to do, I never wanted anything to stop me. So the whole idea is, even if I fail, which I haven't yet, thank God, I'm just going to keep doing it. No matter what, I'm just going to keep making comic books. I swear to God, if you come here and don't come see me, I would never. You gotta understand, I am so codependent. Like, one of the reasons why I don't go to cons right now is because I only have so many friends who are into comic books that I know in the meat space. So I've been talking to, like, All Sorrow, Sean Peacock, shout out, Danger Boy launches tomorrow. I've been talking to him about going to cons. Andrew Bowman on here about going to cons. I talked to K-Pop Junkie, an awesome podcaster who covers comic books. She goes to local cons. So I'm trying to go. If I ever was on the East Coast, I'm hitting you and Benny Rose up, because God forbid I do anything on my own. I've been married for almost a decade and a half, and I don't do anything without my wife. There's no way I could go that far away from home and not just, like, piggyback. And if I get in the first 13 colonies, I'm swinging by Alex's house. Are you allowed to go that far east, Fish? Like, does your ankle monitor go that far? Yeah, it's awesome to see other comic creators at cons. Listen, I'm so excited to do it. I'm going to one this weekend, next weekend. Great Lakes Comic-Con. Just, if you see me walking around, please say hi. I don't have a booth because I found out about it too late, but she can come too. Listen, she can't, because everyone likes my wife more than me. So if she comes, you're going to become her friend and not my friend, and I can't have that, okay? I need some people who like me. I'm in Michigan, Ricardo. And then everybody else cool is on the East Coast. And the kids. I would love to bring my kids. They're awesome. My kids love going places. The problem is, again, my kids are so much cooler than me. You're gonna like them more, and they're also so excitable. And traveling that far with them sounds terrifying. Yeah, it's federal. As long as I don't hit the Gulf of Merc, I'm good. All right, then we should be good to head out to the East Coast. Honestly, Fish, what you do is you drive. You come and pick me up, and then we go. And we'll just go together. I heard Fish was over here. I ran over. Fish brings the people. Tell me about it. I know so many East Coast comic creators, right? Like that's the way. Oh, you're from LA? Well, I mean, listen, you're in the Mecca, man. I mean, obviously New York is huge, like Marvel and stuff, but you can get so much work just being in LA. I'm kind of envious. Fish, not Fush. No, it's Fush, Mr. Fush, I believe. Fish, you do need to come do that. You need to come and pick me up. And then we can bother Alex. And it sounds like Alex was offering up his spare bedroom and his couch, I believe. So that's perfect. And or feeding us. I think there was some mention of continental breakfast in the morning. So that'll be really dope. And I appreciate that. And you would also ferry us to the different cons in your neck of the woods, right? So we wouldn't have to drive and or rent a car. Just depends on what part of the country you're from, right? Yeah, I'm super lucky to be here, honestly. Like it is such a good place to be when it comes to networking for the arts. Food, I'm on the way. Sounds about right. Listen, we're gonna joke too much, and I know like you already got yourself into trouble about joking about making a community garden. You're gonna get on the hook for too many things, and you know, we're all just lost souls. We're going to end up at your doorstep, and you're going to have to feed us. Everyone here is a screenwriter, though. That's true. It is definitely more about the TV. It's the silver screen. But, you know, comic books are still huge there, and comic books make all of the entertainment world go round. We are the IP farm, right? That's where all of the cool, exciting ideas come from these days. So, you're at, like, you know, the front and center still out there. That's my problem. My jokes become reality. That's not a problem. That's a superpower, dude. I mean, when you look at Lucky 33 as a whole, think about what you created and magicked into existence. That is alchemy, man. And you just keep doing that. And you're gonna joke, and eventually you're gonna get me out to Jersey, out to New York, and it's gonna be crazy. And I mean, it's already working. You're the one. I remember the first time I saw a video of yours. I think, obviously, I saw your Power Ranger stuff way back in the day. But the first like video about your comic book creating, I think you were meeting Bad Ink at a Comic-Con for the first time, and that was the first time I saw stuff about your comic books. And that was the first time I went, okay, I need to go to cons. I need to figure this out. Obviously, that was a few years ago now, but it was the first time I actually said to myself, hey, I need to go to cons. If you don't come to be a Comic-Con, I'll riot. Listen, it'll be cool to get some more places. Just off of bullshit. Right? The Mighty Cow was just a pun, and now it's 5 books. That's exactly how it goes, dude. 5 books and several different one-offs in Fishtails. Oh yeah, that was before they got cool. Too big for us. Man, every video they make is gigantic. And I've had a couple people ask, because I talk about knowing other comic book creators on here, and they're like, oh, so you probably know Bad Ink. I'm like, I know Bad Ink. Bad Ink doesn't know me. It is not a two-way street. I've interacted with Lydia a few times, but I don't think she knows who I am. I'm just the weird guy in her comments going, oh, this art is dope. We also have not been to a con since. That's fair, but I mean, like, do you need to? Yeah, I feel like you get a lot of, like, audience interaction and a lot of fans just from your TikToks. And your TikToks go out way wider than my stuff does. You definitely should if you want to grow in that angle. One of the reasons why I need to go to cons is I need to network to meet more publishers and to play that game. You know, like, I don't know if it's necessary across the board, but I have talked to a few other publishers, and the first thing they ask me every single time is, where are you tabling? Every time I talk to a comic book shop that I want to sell to, the first thing they ask me is, where are you tabling? Where are you going? So if you're looking to do that kind of stuff, Alex, like, obviously do that, but you're killing the game. Why would you ever need to go anywhere when you're already doing awesome? How did you do at that con? By the way, was it like bad, so you stopped doing them, or did you stop doing them because you're a huge success everywhere else and you don't need to table anymore? Way wider. I need long hair again. Fish, I don't want to be that guy, but you need hair, period. You can't have long hair without hair to start with. You got to start at level 1 before you grow it out. I'm super new on this side of publishing. No one knows me. Join the club, brother. No one knows me. We did all right. It was just scary and expensive. And that's the big draw, right? Like, that's the thing, is everything is so expensive. When I was looking at tabling at Motor City Comic Con, I think it was $400, which obviously not a lot versus other things. Like it's like $5K if you go to San Diego, but $400 is $400. When you think about some indie comics who sell their books for like $10, man, you're gonna sell 40 books there? I don't know. Also, I don't like pitching things in person. It makes me feel weird. I just need to get over it. Dude, I still don't. I get so uncomfortable. Like, I was apologizing to the chat because they were sending gifts, and I was like, I have nothing to give back to you. I'm still not used to having to do the shilling part. I just want to write the silly comics. But you can go and be a carny and bark at people, and they'll come and buy the book. But it really depends on what you want to do at those cons. Like, if you need more sales, cons are a good way to go. But if you just want to meet more people, I mean, you don't have to table to do that. You don't have to be selling them stuff. You can just be walking around introducing yourself and then hand them a book. I was about to say fish has hair. I keep trying to grow it out. It just comes out of the wrong side of my head. Listen, like, you can do the wraparound. You get the beard, and then you bring it up and over, call it the super comb. And it'll totally work. The kids love that. I mean, that's the other thing too, right? Is you get to have the fun of walking around. When you table, you're supposed to just sit there, right? Like, I mean, yeah, yell at people and stuff, but you're not supposed to be wandering around. The second you table, you kind of have a home base that you're supposed to be chilling at, so people come to you. And that's part of what I kind of want to try to balance, because I do need to be getting sales, I do need to be pitching the book, but I want to network. I want to meet more people making books. I want to meet other publishers and the exhibitors there. And it's hard to do that when you're supposed to be at the table selling stuff. And my kids are still a little bit little to go to some of the Comic-Cons right now, and I don't know how much they would enjoy it, but Kevin Eastman is going to be at this con that I'm going to this weekend, and my son is a giant TMNT fan, and that would be pretty cool. Yeah, I only get to meet people that come to me at shows. I never get invited out to dinner, etc. I don't know if that's necessarily a con thing, Fish. Like, I don't know if getting invited out to dinner is always the logical next step. Dude, NYCC with the kids was the most stressful thing I've ever done. This is what I'm talking about. You had told me a couple times about taking them out there, and the anxiety of having my kids around that large of a crowd. I don't know if I could handle that. I get nervous when I take them to the movie theater. Because I love my kids. I always want to keep them safe, and the more variables you introduce, the scarier it is. I'm not necessarily a helicopter dad, but hard to protect them when there's, millions of people, and obviously that's an exaggeration, but thousands of people walking around. That sounds so crazy, man. So that I get kind of scared about that. I'm busy just selling while everyone else is visiting, right? I gotta head out. It was great finally getting to catch you live. Thank you so much, Ricardo. I appreciate it. Let's hook up again. Let's talk some more. And we're gonna be here doing this a lot this month, so I'll be around. Thanks for stopping by, dude. I would invite you, but Fish is on the menu. J. Kane. Fish is full on cannibal. Fish will eat fish if his dietary needs allow him to. I've heard it. I've seen him talk about it. See, now I'm getting nervous, Alex, just like thinking about taking the kids to the con. Everyone keeps saying, like, oh, it'd be fun for them. They'll meet people. And I'm like, now I'm terrified. That's why I got to go by myself. But I've already told you that I'm codependent. I need a buddy. That's why I was talking to so many of the other local Michigan comic book people who are going to those. So I'm like, hey, are you going to be there? Can I come and hide behind your table if I get nervous? I'll eat fish all day long. See? I almost lost one of them. It was my nightmare. Oh my god, no, see, that sounds terrible. That's the thing. That's terrifying. I'd be thinking about that the entire time. I can't do it. That's especially you take them to the city, right? I don't have a city even close to that size by me, right? The biggest thing is Detroit, and even then, it's not the same thing as New York. So I can't imagine taking my kids to the city, let alone going to a convention center like that. I just... And also, I don't trust myself to do a good enough job, you know? Like, if I'm here, if I'm in my local stuff, it's like I know where the emergency facilities are. I know all the things that could go wrong, where to go. When you're traveling, you can't... all of the variables just grow exponentially. Man, you're giving me... giving me an anxiety. Oh, man. I can't... I'm so scared about that. Why the name T.S. Luther? Okay, so... my government name is not T.S. Luther. The T.S. Is my actual name. Luther was my father's middle name. And it was the big difference because I'm named after my dad. So I was always Terry Jr. or Little Terry because my dad's name was also Terry. But we had two different middle names, so I wasn't a junior because he never wanted me to be a junior. So this was kind of like for my dad. I named myself T.S. Luther. Also because Terry Smith, which is, again, my government name, good luck Googling me, there's a lot of us, it's kind of a boring name, right? Terry Smith does your taxes. Terry Smith is a good accountant. He plays tennis. He does not write comic books. That's just such a boring name. So that's where T.S. Luther was born. See, if we ever talk beyond a live chat, I'm going to hyperfixate on cannibalism. Your local cons won't be so bad. That's what I hope. I hope so, and I hope I can kind of get used to it and learn the ropes and get a little bit better at that. Is the Chaos live right now? Malik, it is live right now. The link is in my bio. You can go and check out Hellion and Bash #2 right now if you want to. Or share it with a friend. Terry Smith is a legend. He is now because he's ethereal. He's gone. Fugazi. Fairy dust. He's in the ether. I am now T.S. Luther forever. I have been reborn. Yeah, the local one was very chill. That's what I hope for. I hope I can kind of learn the ropes at the local stuff. I'm going to a few library events, which is like as far down the totem pole as you can get. I practice by going to the local, what's it called? My dad brain is activating right now. Farmer's market. I went to the farmer's market to sell some copies. Like, to try to, again, get used to selling the books, existing around people. Because I know I joke about not leaving a lot. I really don't go anywhere. I go to the movies. I take my kids to school. I go to a family dinner. That's the extent of what I do out and about. I mean, I guess I go grocery shopping. But for the most part, I don't really go and do things. And it's kind of weird. I never really thought about it because I'm not actually like a shut-in in the way of like I'm afraid of outside. I'm not agoraphobic or anything. But it has become a little bit of a reminder that I don't leave very often. So I'm just not used to doing these things. Gotta link you up with Sam and Josh for the local ones. Listen, Sam and Josh have talked 1,000 times about getting together. We're all just so bad at actually doing it. The closest we came, Sam had put something together and was like, hey, when can we all meet up? And then the holidays happened. And we came close for like a minute there. But we're just all so busy and also, introverted that it never ends up lining up. But I will start bothering them again. I had just talked to Sam because he was excited. He saw the ad for Hellion and Bash pop up and he was hitting me up. So I'm going to have to talk to him and do it because I need to meet more people. That was, again, linking up with Sean about going to WishCons, K-Pop Junkie as well. Because I'm like, hey, I need local friends who like comic books. We've been down to one car. I haven't left the house in weeks. That's exactly what happens. I'm so sorry that you're still down. But it starts to add up. I remember being in COVID and like being in lockdown. I hadn't left the house in like 3 months. And that was crazy. And now it's not because of any like mortal danger. I just don't have a reason to leave very often. No, you are. Imagine making comics with them. God, that would be so cool. But sadly, they're all tied up in Lucky 33 comics. And even when I tried to get into Lucky 33 comics, you're like, no. Josh isn't going to make art with you. We have this other guy, which I'm super excited about. Definitely go check out Artie Murphy. Go buy his amazing Marvel print. This thing is so rad. Hit him up on Instagram. Buy this before he gets the cease and desist. I just mean about coordinating things. 31 backers so far? No, that's crazy. Holy crap. No, not 31. You got it backwards. 23 backers. 23 backers, 31 days to go, Ty. You got me so excited, but it's still awesome. 23 backers. We're at $803 out of a $3,000 goal, which is so amazing. Thank you so much for all the support, guys, and for hanging out. But this is crazy cool. But yeah, trying to coordinate stuff with people who are like me is impossible. That's one of the reasons why me and Fish, I'll tell you, when we see this, it's like we send like 55 text messages back and forth, trying like not only like confirming, hey, are you still in, but as like a reminder all the way around, both for ourselves and for the other person, like, hey, we're gonna do this event thing that we talked about doing 2 weeks ago. Every time we go to do the podcast, we have like 3 different text messages going back and forth, going, hey, are we still doing the podcast? Is this still happening? Because otherwise we would forget and or cancel like I did with you 40 times. Speaking of which, I need to hit you up. We do need to record that. I would love to podcast with you. Give us an excuse to chat for an hour or so. I was good during COVID for 2 months, and then I got stir crazy. I mean, I am introverted, so it doesn't bother me too much. Like, if I can't leave, I'm just going to read more comic books, write more comic books, play video games, anything like that. So it's not that problem. It's that I get bad when I do go out and I don't remember how to be and how to exist without like all the anxiety and enjoy myself. That's the thing, is I go out because I haven't been out in forever and I just want to go home, and that's not a good way to be. The problem is all the cool stuff's at home. I have a beautiful wife and my awesome kids and all these awesome comic books. I was on a podcast yesterday, and the host had to like jump off for a few, and so I had reached over and I was reading a comic book on her live, waiting for people to join. But I was like, well, I'm just gonna sit here. Oh, the post office. That's the other place I go. I go to the post office to drop off all these comic books. I just dropped off another international order. Pro tip: make sure you print out the manifest for your amazing post workers, so they don't have to scan in 45 different packages. They can just scan the manifest and ship out everything. Then they just have to count to 45. Brandon, how you doing, dude? Oh yeah, good tip. I got that tip from Alex. Shout out to Lucky 33 Comics. That saved my hide so they didn't get mad at me. Oh man, just in case anyone joining is new here, I'm T.S. and I write comics. Hellion and Bash #2 is my newest comic. It is live right now on Kickstarter. You can go to the link in my bio and check it out. Back it if you want to. Share it with a friend. If you like superhero comics like Invincible, Hellion and Bash is going to be for you. It's all about asking the question, who protects the sidekick from the superhero? When this sidekick needs help and the superhero community doesn't step up to save him, the supervillain community does, and they have to go on the run from all of those superheroes. And it's a lot of fun. It just got picked up by a publisher called Professional Entropy. And if you haven't read issue 1, that's okay. You can pick up both on the Kickstarter. Make friends with the folks at the post office. It's easy, helps a lot. They're amazing. I love all the people at both the post offices I frequent. I frequent one here and I frequent one in a town over because sometimes this one gets really busy and I don't want to wait. So I'm going to go to the other one. I drive by and I go, okay, that one's super busy, so I go to the other one. But yes, definitely do that and make it as easy as possible on them. We have a mini fridge with drinks and snacks on the porch. They all love us. Oh, that's so cool. I would do that. I mean, I live in an apartment building, so I can't do that. We have like a hub with like an Amazon hub and all of our post our mailboxes like in like a separate building, so I can't do that necessarily. But I love seeing that. I saw that on TikTok the other day, and I was like, I wonder if other people do this. And I'm happy to hear that you do. Especially if you get a lot of packages or you ship a lot of stuff. That's such a nice thing to do for them. I never delivered Amazon stuff. I was a pizza delivery guy for a while. And every once in a while somebody would have something cool like that. And it was always nice. Oh my god, do we get packages? I don't order a lot of stuff. Mostly because I'm poor because I make comic books. But I gotta imagine if I did, I would have to do something like that. Having 4 different people in my household, it's a good thing my kids can't shop because it would be nonstop. The only thing that we buy is comic books, really. Now they stop by all the time just to grab a drink. That's so cool. You have like the cool house on the block. You're like the cool dad who's got the fridge in the garage and it always has soda in it. I'm not jealous at all. Oh, I do have to show you guys one thing. There is something cool I have here. Makes up for when they have to deliver 1,000 books. Right? Like, it definitely does. So one cool thing is there's not a lot of physical copies of Growing Up. This is the first comic book I published, but I do have one here. It was like an Amazon drop shipping copy that I did. But that was just in this pile. My wife does woodworking with her father, and she made a handy dandy picture frame here for Tokyo Fire and all my other comic books. So all my number ones are in these really, really gorgeous picture frames that she made by hand, which is so rad. But yeah, so I'm going to start decorating all of these all over my house. So be jealous that I have all these amazing custom made frames and you don't. So I'm about to put Hellion and Bash number 2 when it gets printed in one of those. And I'm going to set up a little wall so I can have all of the different books that I've worked on, including stuff from Mr. Fish Comics, like Green Zone number 4, which is also live on Kickstarter right now. You should go back it. It's the final book in the arc. You can pick up 1 through 3 on there too to catch up if you haven't read it. It's awesome. Go check it out. Mr. Luther is the best. That's great woodwork. Miss Luther is the best. She's been learning woodworking, like I said, because her dad does woodworking, and she picks up stuff so much faster than me. It takes me so long to learn new things. It's one of the reasons why I write comic books, right? Like, I joke, but I'm genuinely not good at a lot of stuff. I play video games, and I can understand writing, and I can write myself. That's about it. I'm not good at stuff. And she has a bachelor's degree. She's a dental hygienist. She now does woodworking, and she's learned so many cool things. She's amazing. And it never ceases to amaze me. Every time there's something new, I'm like, well, she could probably figure that out, and she does. And I'm just over here, I'm like, well, I can pretend to write about somebody who can do those things, and that's the extent of my skill set. And she also does amazing artwork herself. She just doesn't like selling it. She's an amazing painter, and I've had to work and scrap at it for years to get even like remotely as good as she is. I'm going to do one last refresh, and then I got to go. Speaking of my wife, I need to go hang out with her before it gets too late and hang out with my kids, as it's almost their bedtime, and I got to go tuck them in. I love carpentry. Used to build cabinets for McMansions. Yeah, I know. You've told me about that. That's so rad. I am so bad with, like, the third dimension, right? Like, anything, like, geometry related. I cannot eyeball dimensions. I'm not great at measuring stuff, which sounds like... That sounds crazy. It's such an easy skill. You measure it, and you look at what it is, and I'm bad at it. Like, it's frustrating to me how bad I am at it. I can pick stuff up, and I can put them down, and I've done, like... I used to do, like, roofs, right? But that's the extent of what I can do carpentry related. And most of that is just lifting things up and going up ladders. I don't even get to handle most of the tools because I'm bad at measuring stuff. And so anybody who does carpentry I'm not only envious of, but I'm in awe of, because I can't even begin to understand what goes into it. All right, we are sitting at $803 out of a $3,000 goal, 23 backers with 31 days to go. Thank you so much to everyone who's backed it, shared it out, anything like that. Hellion and Bash number 2, link is in the bio. You're all the best. It's so frustrating. We try to force straight lines out of a crooked trees. Again, yeah, it's the magic that we've talked about with people who do that kind of stuff. One of the cool things about writing is I can just make stuff up. My kids talk to me about history. They're like, "Dad, are you smart about this or that?" I'm like, "No, that's why I write things. It's because I just get to decide what the reality of that world is. I don't have to be smart because I can make stuff up, and it's why I write things versus the people who are intelligent at things and can go to school and can learn things like woodworking. It's all amazing, and I can't do anything like that. So I am always in awe of you." Does anybody have any last-minute questions about Hellion and Bash, about writing comics, about publishing books, finding a publisher, anything like that before I go? Is there anything I can help you with before I dip out and hang out with the fam? And presumably get a bigger straw. Tamanomicon, how's it going? I see you over in the YouTube chat. Sorry, I didn't know you had moved over. Yeah, I would rather write Bird Barbarians than research history for a period novel. I mean, I do my research. I do definitely research stuff. And being able to extrapolate interesting stories out of history is different than necessarily understanding the cause and event of the historical events. Like, understanding the cause and effect of all those things and what that means currently, like, that's not something that I necessarily have a great handle of, but I can pick up on story threads and themes within history. So I do a lot of research on stuff, but I couldn't apply that to anything else. Don't forget about telling me your thoughts on my script. I definitely won't, Bug Boy, I promise. I just have been really busy this week, but I will definitely, I'll probably type up some stuff just to kind of go over, just so you can have those notes forever if you want them, if that's valuable to you. But I'll hit you up on Discord or something, and we can chat a little bit about your scripts, man. Definitely do that. And if you wanted to check out anything, I know you were asking about the cameo stuff. I'm not the only book that does stuff like that. Obviously, Hellion and Bash #2, but there's lots of other people's books that you can talk to about doing stuff. If you enjoyed writing that script, that was the one thing I would say after looking after a little bit of it, is if you enjoyed doing that and you're not sure where to go to next, because I know that you weren't sure when you were going to put out your script, you should talk to other people about potentially writing some backups for them. If there's anything that you can put out there to start working with other people to kind of hone your craft a little bit more. That's a lot of what I did when I was first starting out, is I started asking people, hey, is there room in this script for a one-page story? Can I write something else for you? Can I pitch you this book? Like, that's probably the next step as you work on these scripts, because you've got a few under your belt now. So look into that if that sounds interesting to you. That's what I would recommend. And I definitely will hit you up with some notes. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hellion and Bash #2, live on Kickstarter. Go check out Green Zone. And if you have backed it or are following, I'm going to send out an update tonight with more notes on Hellion and Bash, but also some of these other awesome Kickstarters of people that hit me up that you should definitely go and check out. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope you all have a good night. I'm T.S., and I write comics.